Hi everyone, how are you this Tuesday afternoon? I didn't think I was going to be looking at charts or cards very much for the rest of the day um, until I saw the Dow dropping again. I haven't been watching the news, and I think it had another huge drop yesterday or last week. I'm going to talk about that just for a moment. This was our new moon in Pisces on Sunday. Thoughts that came to my mind when I looked at this the other day and I glanced at it, I was like, oh, well, we have all the planets above the horizon, so there's going to be a lot of stuff happening that we'll all we'll all see, we'll all know, we'll all feel and be talking about these things, and it's going to be a lot of stuff. Sun and moon in Pisces, we have like limitless boundaries. So this stuff, whatever gets going, can just keep going and going and going and going. The sun and moon over here in the 11th house, which is the owner of this real estate is Aquarius, which happens to be on the midheaven, the highest point of the sun that day. So there's a quality, there's going to be a Uranian quality to all the news that we hear about, the things that we hear about. They're going to be new news, shocking news. It won't be quite as turbulent as it was during Aquarius season, because Pisces is really more healing, kind of takes the brunt of all these things and kind of dissolves them into one another so that we can kind of release what we don't need anymore. It's a very cleansing sign, very healing sign. But what I noticed, because Pisces rules this area, the 12th house, I was like, oh, here we have hidden is Venus, money. Oh, and there's a surprise, shocking news. And the part of fortune, the most fortunate aspect of the horoscope, is right conjunct the ascendant. You can't really see it because it's right at the eastern horizon. And so when I was looking at this, then you have Uranus here, the ruler of the midheaven, with a trine, a very strong trine to Mars over here in the 8th house of other people's money, secret, explosiveness. When you get Mars and Uranus going together, you're looking at explosive type of things, sudden, just like fireworks. I'm like thinking of in cartoons, like with gunpowder, and how they would light the gunpowder and it would be on fire along its line until it hit its explosive mark and it would go poof, kind of like that. And the thing is, the midpoint of Mars and Uranus are the sun and moon. So thinking about like the soul of our nation, the emotional aspect of our nation, our leaders in our nation, we the people in our nation, at the center point, the midpoint of this explosive energy. The other thing that's in this area, the 12th house of secrets, hidden enemies, retreat, Venus, which also has not only to do with women, but money, income, gains. There's something hidden and secretive about that. Now, Venus is not her strongest in Aries. Venus likes artistic things and comfortable surroundings, things that are beautiful and beauty, and kind of, is a comfort creature, is about partnerships, and it's about love. It really likes to relax into these elements of beautifulness. Aries doesn't relax. Aries charges forth. So the way Venus gets to experience Aries is impulsively, on the run, on the go. It has a lot of that charging force and bursting forth. It doesn't really wrap things up. As far as income gains, monies can be spent unwisely or impulsively. And Venus, which has to do money, has been in square with Pluto, with Jupiter. So there's a lot of irritation there. Maybe giving some confidence there, some recklessness there with money to take risks that don't need to be taken. But what I wanted you to see here, now here's today, the moon is, Venus is at 20 degrees Aries. I love these pens. They need to make more of these. It now is at that 20-degree mark. The last couple videos I've done, I've talked a lot about the 20-degree mark and the 24-degree mark. Not only are we in eclipse click territory, essentially we're in it this entire time. Mars is in Capricorn, for all intents and purposes, because it's just going to rattle things off over and over and over again. Mars, Venus is disposited by Mars. Venus being in Aries, Aries ruled by Mars, Mars is going to dictate how Venus also behaves. It's in Capricorn, which is a very conservative sign. It is conjunct the South Node. It just passed the South Node, but the South Node has to do with releasing things, letting things go. Things kind of become residual. I don't know why I keep thinking like residue. Well, it's like we're letting go this stuff that is we're letting go of what's dissolving. These are the things that are let go of as we go forth to something else. And so there's a lot of energy here too that's dissolving structures, that's dissolving the way we used to do things. That's part of this whole realignment, this restructuring that we've seen with Saturn and Pluto that we've been talking about so much. It is active now. It is still going. But I feel like this may have longer term implications. They're saying that the drop is because of the coronavirus. I've talked a little bit about the virus, CV, because that virus got started in China around the full moon eclipse in January 10th, I believe. Well, that Saturn-Pluto conjunction, the full moon eclipse was at 20 degrees Capricorn. It's in square to where this Aries is right now. It was at 20 degrees Capricorn. Was that full moon eclipse. A couple days later, we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction at 22 degrees Capricorn. So there was eclipse energy carrying over that Saturn-Pluto conjunction. Well, Venus today is squaring that eclipse click point. Mars in Capricorn is active in Capricorn, which is activating these eclipse energies during its transit, is making us let go of things that aren't working anymore. Structures are changing. Waste is being let go. Getting back to the coronavirus, sell-offs given the coronavirus fears, this 22 degree mark of Capricorn, where that Saturn-Pluto conjunction took place, sitting right on top of China's natal Jupiter, which is 22 degrees Capricorn, and it's in their 12th house. You know, I talk about secrets, hidden enemies. Well, the 12th house of Pisces, because Pisces also owns this, rules the immune system. So we've got this coronavirus fear that's intimately linked and tied to not only this full moon eclipse, but the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, and transit Venus, the planet of gains, is in square to that. So, and it's going to stay in square. It's going to be because we have all this eclipse energy activated, and Mars is not in a supportive stance to Venus. What I'm trying to say, I'm taking a very long way to say this. I don't know why. But this is going to have longer lasting effects than I think people realize because of how this coronavirus, the timing that it got started, where it sits in the natal chart of China. And now we have Pluto here at 24 degrees Capricorn, 9 minutes. 24 degrees, that's my can opener eclipse degree from last July 16th. I call it the can opener because it finally cracked open that very narrow space in Donald Trump's natal chart where his money has been protected for eons. It's like his money's been in a vault, and we got a can opener, and we were able to slowly but open up the can so we could see what was in there, and it's open. So here we go. We're going to be having more moneyed news. I don't know where this is going in the future. I think this is going to be, like I said, longer standing, because Venus, if you notice, she's getting pretty far ahead of the sun here. She's already almost 50 degrees ahead of the sun. When she gets really far ahead of the sun, that's when she's going to go retrograde. And that time is going to be from May 13th to June 25th. In May, you will feel Venus slowing down. It will be in Gemini. And when Venus is retrograde, the Republican Party, tends to be when they make their most egregious laws and rules about women, families, children, reproductive systems. This is when they launch their ugliest stuff about women. It will be in Gemini, so it's going to be very kind of adolescent and gross, what they're going to do. This is also when we tend to have more violence against women, and women are just kind of disregarded. So as we get to that point, as we are moving on, we need to be pre-planning our new moon wishes so that we can be in a good space before we get hit by this Venus retrograde in May, because it's going to start the summer off retrograde. So even though it'll go direct during the summer, that retrograde energy is going to be active all summer long, which is going to add to more rains and rainfall. And there's going to be eclipses that will be coming. So this period is going to be May 13th to June 25th. It's going to be a difficult time financially. Young brides, those who are getting married, if you're getting married during these dates, you might want to consult with an astrologer to see what other proactive things you can do to kind of blunt the influence of a Venus retrograde on the marriage, because you're going to you will be making adaptations. Your marriage will be different. Not that anything will be wrong, it's just going to be different in how love is expressed than how people typically expect in marriages. Those type of marriages have a really unique feeling quality about them. And I would not be surprised at all if we get news about Facebook at this time. There's been a lot of news lately, behind the scenes related to elections, funding, foreign interference, and with the WikiL cases going on, I would expect there's going to be some pretty big news about Facebook during this time. Because when Facebook went public, Venus was retrograde in their chart of that day. That was when Venus transited the sun around 2012. It was really pretty, but I remember at the time I was really worried about it because I'm like, what could this possibly mean? Venus retrograde in Gemini, what does that mean for women? What does that mean for children? What does that mean for communities? I kept thinking, what kind of violence would happen? And I had no idea. And exactly 6 months later is when we had Newtown happened. It was an eclipse click. So that's the influence of Venus when it's related to eclipse click points. And I feel like Venus in Aries is kind of giving us a warning signal. Hey guys, let's be a little bit more conservative and thoughtful about our finances, not be so impulsive. And it makes it kind of hard if you're going to be talking about Venus and partnerships and how to plan, because we have this asteroid Juno, Juno, in Libra at exactly 20 degrees. They're opposite. Juno is all about marriage and partnership and planning, and being in Libra, ruled by Venus opposite, it's just going to be that much more difficult planning in those regards. So please be patient with your partners, your mate, when it comes to money discussions, and kind of think longer term how best to manage your finances and plan a little bit longer term and kind of your rainy day funds. Okay? Have a great day, you guys. We'll talk soon.